Want more great job search tips and advice? Head to 5strengths.com/webinar to register for Break the Six-Figure Salary Barrier, Master Your Executive Job Search. In this free webinar, I'm presenting my best strategies for your successful job search. Again, register for Break the Six-Figure Salary Barrier, Master Your Executive Job Search at 5strengths.com/webinar. Now on to the show. Hello and welcome to the Job Search Podcast. I'm Amy L. Adler, executive resume writer of 5 Strengths Career Transition Experts. If you've been listening all along, you'll know that I'm on part 5 of a simple research plan for executive job search success. You're going to want to go back and listen to steps 1 through 4 as well, because step 5, part 5, won't make any sense to you without having that foundation first, because there are exercises and skills that you need to build in order to get to this point. The point today is about applying for the subset of positions that match your goals, your needs, and the company's demands. So there are 3 key ways you can start to apply for executive positions that are right for you. And I know you're all raring to go to put all those skills and techniques that we were just talking about in episodes 1 through 4 to use. So I know you're ready to apply. You can apply directly on a company's career website or via a job board, or you can work through recruiters. Last, and most effectively, you can network into the right role. Each of these strategies can be effective if you use them the right way. So let's talk about those 3 strategies of how you can apply for positions. Strategy number 1 is applying for executive jobs online. This should be about 5% of your job search effort. If 100% of your job search is applying online, you can cut out 95% of what you are doing. It probably feels like you're a hamster on a wheel, and it's frustrating, and it doesn't work so much. And for the most part, companies are not picking from unsolicited resumes anyway. So perhaps 3 to 5% of jobs are getting filled from this type of application. To make this strategy work for you while not eating into the time you should be spending on more effective techniques, take advantage of alerts, Indeed alerts, Google alerts, LinkedIn alerts. Figure out what the right Boolean query is that returns the results that you are seeking, the kinds of roles that you're after. And you can use this query in all of your alerts, or several sets of queries in your alerts, so you don't miss a critical opportunity. Note that all systems don't use strict Boolean techniques, so you might need to test the minus sign or the not indicator to eliminate results that don't pertain to you. And in fact, you might need to test those queries a bunch of times to make sure they're returning the results you want. In any case, by the end, the alerts will run in the background and email you on the schedule that you determine, and you'll be able to review the results of your job search queries quickly and easily without your having to run individual queries every day and, frankly, waste your time. Considering again that job boards and online applications are the least effective use of your energies, alerts simplify the process for you. One note. Some companies with large online applicant tracking systems will require you as the applicant, applicants at every level, no matter who you are or what you're applying for, to apply through their online application systems regardless of your networking strategy. So make sure that you follow the policies of the company that you're targeting. And you can always say in your networking inquiry that you have applied through the traditional channels that the company is requiring. Option number 2 is engaging with recruiters. Maybe this is 20% of your job search effort. Strictly speaking, you, as the executive in a job search, do not, quote unquote, work with recruiters. That is such a fallacy that you can simply decide to work with a recruiter. Recruiters work with companies that hire them to fill key positions. The talent in this case is you, the applicant, and you're at the earliest part of this process, you're almost tangential to what the goals of the company are, because they don't know you, and the whole process is dictated by the flow of dollars. So roughly speaking, from a cash flow perspective, the recruiting process looks something like this. The company uses a recruiter, either contract or contingent or somebody internally, to determine the ideal pool of candidates. The company then evaluates these career portfolios and they choose some to interview. And the company might also choose to interview candidate whom they source internally or who apply outside of the recruiting process. The career portfolios do not become valuable as representative of individuals until the candidates, the humans, are brought into to the company for interviews with the hiring executive team. So you can see that there's a tipping point at which point your paper portfolio, your electronic portfolio, converts to being representative of a human being, and that's you. And that's really, really important. So then step 4 is the company then decides to hire a candidate, theoretically presented by the recruiter or sourced by some other means. But they're hiring a human being, not a piece of paper. The selected candidate, which we hope is you, chooses or does not choose to accept the position based on whatever the negotiation happened to be. If the candidate selected and hired was initially presented by a recruiter, then the recruiter or the recruiter's agency receives a finder's commission for a significant portion of what your first year salary, your full compensation might be. So what you as the executive in job search mode need to know about this process is that when you are presented by a recruiter to a company, you automatically come with a fairly expensive price tag in the form of the commission that is calculated as a percentage of your first year's salary. So hiring through a recruiter is expensive for the company, and some companies categorically refuse to hire via recruiters. You have to sort of research it out and figure out what's going on. In any case, you need to do 2 things. First, you need to apply to your target list first, and if you present yourself first, regardless of whether a recruiter somehow presents you later, you don't come with that price tag. So you need to know your target list and apply before a recruiter does on your behalf. But I will temper that with the real deep knowledge that a recruiter knows something you don't know. So if they're reaching out to you, then they have insider knowledge that is probably based on a confidential search that you would not learn about by any other means. And at the level at which you're seeking, it is entirely possible that the company that is transitioning an employee out for whatever reason, they're trying to keep that under wraps. So you may have no way of figuring out that this position is about to become available except through the inquiry of a recruiter who has found you. No matter how hard you might hide from them, if you have any presence at all in the industry, they're going to find you. That is their job. Part number 3 to this application process is networking into the right role before it becomes available. And that should be 75% of your job effort. So we talked about the 5% of applying online, the 20% of responding to recruiters or figuring out how you might collaborate with them. This is 75% of your job search effort. Your networking efforts should focus on developing relationships early in your executive job search so that you are uniquely top of mind when positions become available. This is a time-consuming process and certainly not one that will necessarily bear fruit in the first stages of it. Nevertheless, it is extremely effective as an executive job search strategy over the long term if you do it consistently and correctly. To network effectively, you need to be prepared to listen, learn, and communicate so that your audience believes the conversation is a two-way street. You need to truly want to build relationships, to listen for the sake of listening while you are still in your current role, while you're in job search mode, and after you successfully secure your next role. Keep your contacts warm throughout your career, and you will be able to capitalize on them when you do. And by the way, you should be able to reciprocate at any moment. It's not a one-way street. Make sure that you're giving as much as you are getting. With that, I will ask you, are you in the midst of an executive job search? What are you doing to support that strategy? Do you need any advice? Do you need a resume? If you have any questions at all, if there's any way in which I can help you, give me a call, 801-810-5627. I love when people pick up the phone and call me and tell me they've been listening. It warms my heart. So please do that at a moment's notice. I'm really happy to spend a few minutes and give you whatever advice I possibly can do to help you. Again, I'm Amy L. Adler, 5 Strengths Career Transition Experts. You can find me at 801-810-5627. Thanks so much.